Hello friends, welcome to Finance Tutorial. In our today's video, we will discuss about the internal rate of return and how to calculate the internal rate of return. In our previous video, we discussed about the net present value. So if you don't know how to calculate the net present value, then I would recommend you to go ahead and check out that video before beginning with this video. So coming back to our today's topic, the internal rate of return. It is a capital budgeting technique just like the NPV, and it is used for making capital budgeting decisions. The internal rate of return is a discount rate that makes the net present value of all cash flows from a particular project equal to zero. The NPV is equal to present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows. So for calculating the NPV, we use the cost of capital applicable to an organization. That is, the cash flows are discounted using the cost of capital. But if you discount the cash flows with using the internal rate of return, your NPV will come out to zero, or the present value of cash inflows will be equal to the present value of cash outflows. So when the IRR is greater than the cost of capital, it indicates that a project or investment is going to generate profit. In such a case, decision in the favor of accepting the project can be taken. On the other hand, when the IRR is lesser than the cost of capital, it indicates that a project or investment is going to result in net loss. In such a case, it would be beneficial to avoid the project. So let's take up an example to understand how to calculate the internal rate of return. So suppose company A has a new project proposal which will return an initial which will require an initial outlay of $20,000. It will generate annual cash flows as follows. In year 1, 3,000, 2, 5,000, year 3, 6,000, year 4, 5,500, and year 5, $4,000. The cost of capital for a company A is 7% per annum. Decide on the basis of IRR whether this project should be accepted or not. So if we draw a timeline, the cash flow at time 0 is negative 20,000. That is a cash outflow of $20,000 in year 1, 3,000, 2, 5,000, 3, 6,500, 4, 5,500, and 5, $4,000. So to get the present value of each cash flows, we'll divide it by using the IRR. So for year 1, it is 3,000 divided by 1 plus IRR to the power 1. For year 2, it is 5,000 divided by 1 plus IRR to the power 2, and so on. So this year 0 cash flow is already at its present value. And then we calculate the present value of other cash flows. So when we add the present value of all the cash flows, then NPV will come out 0 because we are using the IRR to discount the cash flows. So to calculate the IRR, we will assume an interest rate and discount the cash flows using that interest rate to calculate the NPV. So in this case, we have assumed an interest rate of 10%. Then we have calculated the present value interest factors. For year 0, it is 1. For year 1, it is 0.9091. Then for year 2, it is 0.8264. For year 3, it is 0.7513. For year 4, it is 0.6830. And for year 5, it is 0.6209. So for year 1, it is 1. And then you divide for year 2. Sorry, for year 0, it is 1. For year 1, you divide 1 by 1.1. That is 1 point the interest rate. And for year 2, it is year 1 present value interest factor divided by 1 plus the interest rate, and so on. So when you multiply the cash flows with the present value interest factors, you will get the present value of cash flows. And when you add all the cash flows, you will get the net present value of the cash flows. So when you take 10% as the discounting rate, the net present value comes out negative 2017. So since the NPV is negative, we will assume a lower interest rate and discount the cash flows in order to get the NPV. So as you see, this is a trial and error method where we take different interest rates to calculate the NPV, and the IRR is when the NPV comes out 0. So for 5% interest rate, the present value interest factors are as follows: is 1, 0.9524, 0.9070, 0.8628, 0.8227, and 0.7835. Here it is how it is calculated. So, and when you multiply the cash flows with your present value interest factors, you will get the present value of the cash flows. So the NPV comes out 666.20. In case if the this first NPV, if you would have get this positive, then you would have assumed a higher interest rate to discount the cash flows. So to get the IRR, we use the following formula: IRR So IRR is equal to lower rate plus lower rate NPV divided by lower rate NPV minus the high rate NPV multiplied by the difference in the rates. So lower rate is 5%, lower rate NPV is 666.20 divided by lower rate NPV 666.20 minus high rate NPV, which is minus 2017. And your difference is in rate is difference between 10% and 5%, which is 5. So this one comes out 0.2483 multiplied by 5% plus 1.2416, which is 6.24%. So the formula returns an approximate IRR, which is 6.24%. So if you want to calculate the accurate IRR, you need to either use a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or you need to use a financial calculator. So let's understand how to use the spreadsheet to calculate NPV, IRR. So you will write down the cash flows in an ascending manner from year 0 to year 5. Then you need to use this function is equal to IRR. So you need to give the values after that. That is year 0 cash flows till year 5 cash flows. You can either give cash flows giving comma in between, or you can just select all the cash flows at once like this, B2 to B7. So your IRR, this guess you can ignore. You can just give the function as IRR and select the cash flows. So your IRR comes out 6.15%. In our manual calculation, the IRR was 6.24%. So, which is approximately is equal to this IRR. So then you need to decide whether to take up the project or not. So in the question, you have given the cost of capital of the company, which is 7%, and the project gives you a return of 6.15%. So your return from the project is lower than the cost of capital of the company. So you should better avoid the project because it will result in a net loss. So I hope you would have understood the topic. If you have any doubt or any suggestion, please leave a comment below. Also, go ahead and check out my Patreon channel. Support me if you like my work. The link is given in the description. Please like this video and share it with your friends. Thank you very much.